Welcome to the Do You Get podcast.
Because I don't think they get.
I actually get, but do they get?
No, they don't get. Do you get that they don't get?
They
that
don't
they
get
that
this
they don't get.
philosophy. They
No,
don't get this philosophy.
They don't
that
get it.
We
You don't get it. If you don't get it, forget about it.
Hello. Welcome to the Do You Get podcast, and this is Florence.
Hi guys, welcome back. It's Simi. Oh my god. Hi. And today we have a special guest in the studio with us. Well, studio quote unquote. We have Kelvin.
Hi.
Our number one fan. Oh my god. Yeah. I still remember when I first met Kelvin.
Yeah.
That was a very awesome day. You don't understand.
It was at a party. Yeah.
But Kelvin, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Kelvin. I'm a recovery type bro and aspiring storyteller, I guess. I think that's the sharp introduction. You probably know more if you listen.
Yeah.
So stick around.
Florence is alluding to, I feel like we mentioned it on the podcast when we met Kelvin once at a party in uni. That was nice because he gave us like a little ego boost.
Yeah.
And allowed us to know that, okay, people are actually listening to this podcast, because sometimes Florence and I were in our heads who's actually listening to us on this podcast. So it was really nice to meet Kelvin and I. And then he's just been very supportive of the podcast. So we're very grateful and very happy to have you on the podcast today. So how have you guys been? How was your week? What highlights, lowlights, anything that happened for you guys this week?
For me, I've been sick this whole week, so it's been really messing with my vibe. But other than that, I've been good. We're recording this episode a bit early, and we had the Super Bowl performance, Kendrick Lamar. That I think that has been on my head the whole week. That was a really good performance. I don't know. I don't care what anybody says. I don't know. I've seen too many point of views. I'm all of you that don't think that was a good performance, good luck to you, but that was a really good performance. But that's really the highlight of my week, Kendrick Lamar and being sick.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I still have the Serena dance stuck in my head as well.
Yes, she did have big one.
She ate. But nothing much. What about you guys?
For me, I had a really down week of some ways. I gave my third year talk the week before, and in the first week of February. So I was just so last week was just very slow, very tiring. I felt like I was just recovering from all that stress, preparing to give a talk or a seminar, and I don't think I did any work that was interesting. So I was just waking up at 12 p.m. going to lab and then not doing anything interesting, and then just coming back home to eat dinner. I was just hanging out with people, getting coffee or getting lunch with people, and that's just stuff I was doing, because that's one of the favorite things about the PhD is just get to hang out with people doing nothing.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best thing though, when you get together with people that you like and just chill. No, let's do this, let's do that, just chill. Yeah. Simi, what about you?
Definitely was thinking about Kendrick this whole week. Every time I saw the performance, I was watching it.
Yeah.
I watched every analysis, like good or bad, like I was just obsessed. Like it was so good. It was very
Yeah.
clean, very simple, very intentional. Like
Ugh.
tens across the board. Like I feel like that was the simplest Super Bowl performance I've ever watched, but not simple like negative simple, but like
Yeah.
like when something is just enough. Like it's
Yeah.
not too much. Because I feel like with Super Bowl, people always feel like I have to do all my bangers and I have to do this and that and that and that and this. But the guy just did what he had to do and like said game over, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
it was so smooth. Like
it was
just his
good.
energy, the presence was the biggest thing. Like, I don't know.
I was so happy when they sang All the Stars because he reminded me of watching Black Panther, and I was just like, oh my god, oh my god, and it reminded me of Chadwick Boseman, and I was just, it was just felt so like wholesome. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, people that didn't like the performance really went over you guys' head because I don't understand.
100%.
I really don't understand.
100%.
Like, I genuinely thought that was a very good performance.
Literally.
Like I've watched it multiple times. Every time it comes up on my feed, I'm like, I'm watching it again, again 100%. And again.
Yeah, I couldn't stay up to watch it because I was like, I don't know when these people will finish kicking the ball around. So I slept, and then the first thing I did when I woke up,
they don't even kick it. They don't kick it. They throw it.
Whatever, because those guys take so long. Like,
I remember the one football game I went to. I don't think I can do that very often. Like it took forever. It took longer than the length of the game to do it. So
they always stretch out the minutes. They're like, oh, okay, there's 10 seconds. If that 10 seconds can last 10 minutes, why?
Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, that was fun, and I'm happy for the team that won. I love seeing the other teams win, and their quarterback is hot. So I was like, yes, thank you very much. I support this message. Thank you. And he's a good guy. He supports women. Like, yes. Like this Super Bowl was really good. And then what else did I do this week? I had lunch, well not this week, but I caught up with an old friend, which was nice. I hadn't like seen her in a while, and it just reminded me of like you know, like what friends were saying, like when you actually hang out with people you like it's just like, oh wow, this is so wholesome and like nice and cute. So yeah, that was my week. It was very like, you know, okay. And then this weekend I went to Northampton to see my sister and my aunt and uncle, so that was nice. Yeah, you know, it was a very wholesome week for the most part. Yeah.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
All right.
So, Kelvin, when we have guests on the podcast from now on, we're going to be playing this or that as like a little like icebreaker / getting to know you more / just for fun and laughs, I guess.
All right. Sounds cool.
So are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start it very, very simple. Jollof rice or fried rice?
Jollof rice, 100%.
100%.
This is a smart man. Honestly,
Jollof rice.
Easy.
Yeah.
Because fried rice is like, sometimes, fried rice depends on who makes it. And that's just it. Like, people can't make fried rice well.
Yeah.
So, and if your fried rice
my best fried rice is, I don't know if you guys know Crunch's fried rice from Nigeria. Okay, so I think it's a southeast thing. Crunch's, and one of their managers was like my neighbor in Nigeria. So that was my favorite food growing up: fried rice and chicken with coleslaw and what else? Fanta.
Oh,
all of them together.
So
you guys know Mr. Biggs, right?
Yeah.
Did Mr. Biggs ever sell fried rice?
Yes.
Yeah,
But Crunches was my favorite. Yeah. But Crunches were my favorite. Nothing tops Crunches. Spicy chops. That was in Aba alone. So yeah. I guess nobody knows what I'm talking about, but it's okay.
It's okay. Your experiences are valid, okay? Speaking of Mr. Biggs, I was going to ask Mr. Biggs or Sweet Sensation? Well,
I don't know either Sweet Sensation, so
I don't know if I ever stepped in a Sweet Sensation spot, so I'll say Mr. Biggs because of the memories.
Yeah, Mr. Biggs was good.
And the meat pie.
Yes, nobody makes Mr. Biggs. Their meat pie and their donut. I love Mr. Biggs donut so much. Oh, God, wow. Okay. Would you rather have more time or more money?
More time.
Oh, that's so wholesome.
Yeah. I feel like I can always make more money with more time, and it's just like,
Mm,
yeah, I just like the concept of living long, I guess, and it's just like you have more
oh,
time to do stuff, more time to see stuff. It's
mm,
pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah, I think I would say more time too. I don't know.
okay.
yeah,
That's a
because
hard
like,
one. I think I would say more time. I know Sibi is
because
going to say more
are
Guy,
you
money.
I'm picking money, sorry.
wait are you guaranteed? Are they giving you? Are you going to get less money because you have more time? Is that the trick here, or because if I have more time,
No.
I can still make money, right?
More money. Yeah.
But you
Yeah,
can also have more time and not make money. There's also that. So I'm picking money though, just because, money. Though not that I'm like, but I don't know. More time or more money. Currently now I'm picking money.
Mm,
Um yeah.
that's valid though.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry guys. Would you rather cold US winters or Nigeria's heat?
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
That's actually tough because this is giving me flashbacks of working under the sun in Nigeria. I was like trekking under the hot sun, going to buy stuff.
Mm,
But really, I think I was in the Dominican Republic last year and it was hot,
okay.
really, really hot and humid, and
Mm-hmm.
it just reminded me of Nigerians' weather. And I was
Mm,
like, damn, how did I ever survive this type of weather? Like constantly. But I don't know. It's just like the cold is just more the bite on my face and my nose and my ears.
mm,
I just cannot tolerate that sometimes. So
yeah.
I'll actually go with Nigerian. That's yeah, because
Nigerian
you can.
heat is that is the humidity that's the problem. I don't think it's
Mm,
the heat. Is the
mm,
like because I the last time I went to Nigeria, I was trying to take pictures and my skin just not the same. Like it was just very somehow. So I don't know. But I wouldn't do cold winter, sha, so I
Yeah,
guess
100%
yeah.
hit cold winter. It's
yeah,
just like
I'm picking
the
heat as
worst.
well. Like I'd rather
Yeah.
be hot than cold. Being cold is just
You
irritating.
can you can enter a Nigerian bank to chill yourself after.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Did you guys ever watch this show, Legend of the Seeker? Do you guys know what it is?
Is it Merlin?
Okay, no, they're different. Oh, but you know Merlin and you know Legend of
Yeah.
the Seeker.
It sounds familiar, yeah.
Okay, so my question is Merlin or Legend of the Seeker?
I would go with Merlin because that's what I
Okay.
remember the most. I remember
Mm.
Legend of the Seeker, but I've kind of forgotten the characters and storyline and all that stuff.
First.
Merlin too, because I don't think I remember Legend of the Seeker either.
Yeah, Merlin is looking more memorable, but I think I'll pick Merlin. But Legend of the Seeker, I just remember like the old guy. What was his name? Started with Z or something. He was funny. Um, and then I guess our last question: living in one place forever or constantly moving to new places?
Huh, tough because I do like to see stuff.
Mm,
But living in one place forever is just torture, to be honest. It's just like I have to see the other half. So I mean, constantly moving depends on the frequency. Are we talking every 2 years, 3 years?
mm,
That's fine. If it's every year, then that's too much frequency.
right.
Maybe, yeah, depends on the frequency. But I think I like constantly moving. It means I'm like
Okay.
constantly like having new experiences and like working on new stuff. I would suppose, and
Mm,
like meeting new people and having more stories. So that sounds more exciting. Yeah.
fair enough. Florence, how about you?
I think for me is so at this stage of my life, this might change, but in my head
Mm,
now, I think I would like to establish stability in one place and then travel like as often as possible to see other places, but then still come back to my base. Because I don't know that I would because constantly moving is constantly changing friends, constantly figuring out like different routines, constantly adjusting, which is not bad, especially when you're young. I think that helps you grow and stuff. But I think I would really enjoy having like my stability, one place, find a good city, good community there, and then just travel and come back to my home base.
Okay, that makes sense. I agree. Like currently, I'm tired of moving, so I'm like, I would rather like what friend said, stay somewhere for now, like settle down, have like a base. So I feel like I haven't had that for some time, and then travel and like meet people and have those experiences that you were alluding to, Kelvin. But even if it's like maybe temporarily living in places for like 2 months, 3 months for like work or anything like that, but just having that place that is like home, like this is where I'm coming back to when I finish jumping up and down the globe. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, these are all that questions.
Something I was thinking of is that how I don't think I've had like a home since I left for boarding school, and it's just like boarding school, university, then university. I rented an apartment somewhere, and then I came to the US after like living in that apartment for a while. It's just like constantly moving places, like being in one place for a long time.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like yeah, definitely. Because after boarding school was the longest I was in one place for a while, and then moved schools, and then left the country, and then moved for uni, and then moved now again for work. So yeah, I definitely agree um, about that. But how about you talk us through your journey, Kelvin, from like Nigeria and like moving to the US? Like, what did that look like for you? And like, you can talk about like what secondary school you went to Nigeria, how that was, and like the uni you did in Nigeria before you moved to the US.
Okay, so I think I already said I went to boarding school. Boarding school was kind of tough, crazy, as you all know. And,
Yeah.
and I went to university, like every Nigerian kid went to study medicine at some time, or surgery, or law, or what was the other one, engineering. But I just
Yes.
kind of like figured out that, like, I don't think I'll be able to cope as a medical practitioner. There's just like so much time and patience and studying that you had to do, which I think as a studio student, but you just need to put more focus sometimes into it. But so I ended up studying industrial chemistry, and at the apart from me, World University, Great
Okay.
Affair, and
I think my
Wait,
parents went to
I
Ife.
think my mom, yeah, I think my
Yeah.
mom went to Ife too.
Yeah.
as if anybody that knows, we're very proud.
They are. You see them as a great Ife. I'm like, Jesus.
They actually sing the school anthem.
Oh.
Weddings. That's crazy. It's like,
Oh my
Wow.
God.
and so there was a time where women were like women on Twitter. They were like, if my husband and his friends start like singing Great Fair Anthem in our wedding, I'm just gonna shut down everything. Just like, why are you bringing your school anthem to wedding?
Yeah.
But it's pretty good. OU was like fun. Like OU is just like a big place where like there are all kinds of people and stuff. So like when I was in my first year, I was like more into like studying, doing the mathematics, chemistry, physics classes, all that stuff. And then like my second year, I started to meet tech people. I started to like hang out with like tech bros at the time. We had like all this. We had like all these developer communities. We had a lot of communities. There was like music communities and
At Ife?
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. Like Ife has a good big music program. So at night I'll just go to the music building and listen to free performances. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
So yeah, they were like all these communities. So Um, so I didn't have like a smartphone at the time, so I was kind of like disconnected from communities on campus for a long time, and so I was just really isolated, and then I'll focus on my academics and all that stuff, which was probably helpful at the time. I thought, like, yeah. So, but like after my third year, I started to like come out more into communities, like interact with people. So that was when I started like collaborating with people and like working on projects and like and then I realized, oh, I don't really want to do chemistry. I think I have like, I want to do software, machine learning, and stuff like that. And that was the time. Actually, when I was in my first or second year, was when DeepMind. I don't know if you're familiar with company DeepMind that does the Gemini AI stuff.
I think that sounds
Okay, yeah.
familiar.
That was the time that they made an AI to beat someone in chess or Go at the time, and that was like as an undergraduate at the time. I think that was 2016, and that was like really mind blowing to me. And that was like when I realized that, damn, this is like, I think I want to be in this field. I want to do this kind of stuff. Like, imagine making software that does that. So I was
Yeah.
like, during the holidays, I'll be learning, I'll be reading textbooks, I'll be like wasting my time. Not wasting my time, but it was just so much time investment that I just wish I went out more. But I was like spending so much time reading textbook, following tutorials, and like downloading like courses online, and I was really learning a lot.
So
And
that's what you were saying, that you taught yourself
yeah,
like
yeah,
all this
yeah,
stuff by yourself. So
yeah,
you've
yeah.
never had any sort of formal education
Yeah.
around.
I mean, I did one CS class in in university, but I already at the time I think I already knew how to code.
Wow.
The CS class
That's
was like an
cool.
introductory like CS 101 stuff. It was like a general CS class for like all science people, so it wasn't like
Yeah.
an in-depth kind of like coding class. So I started like collaborating with people, like gaining confidence and like working with people, because like there are people who have all these like hardware projects and they needed a software person on campus, and I was just like, yeah, I can write your software, and like we'll just like do all this like cool stuff.
Hmm.
And then it was just like for fun, like, and actually when I started learning how to code, I didn't know people actually did stuff like this as a career. I was just like, this
Mm.
is just fun. It's cool. We're gonna make stuff. We're just gonna make stuff. And it's just like I don't know, maybe because it was just fun to me about like building and making stuff. I was like, it's just like when you need a sweater and like you just do it for fun. Like
Yeah.
like
That's
you're not planning to knit sweater as a career. So I was just like, yeah, this is fun. And so yeah, I did all that, and then I got like a job on campus at some point, working as like a web developer for the school. I was doing like websites and websites for department, faculties, and all that, like school organizations. So it was cool. That was my first paying job, and then I started to get like freelance gigs. I was like word of mouth telling people, "Hey, I do this stuff," and they're like, "Yeah," and so people started to
that's
like
I was
bring their
saying
jobs to me.
that's so interesting, because like it seems like you have like a huge love for making like software stuff, because I for me, like I majored in psychology, and they had like the BS and the BA.
Yeah, yeah,
And the only class I had to take for the BS was computer science, and I said no,
yeah.
no, no. I switched to the I switched back to the BA. But like all the stuff you're saying about like AI, and like I didn't even realize how like far back AI had started until really now that's getting like really popular and stuff. So what do you like think about like what the future of AI would be? Like, do you think it's gonna take over like jobs of certain fields, and like what kind of, I guess, do you have any sort of like idea of like future projections of like, and what people should be thinking about majoring in in college now, like what's even useful and what's not useful at this time, like at this technological space that we're living in right now.
Yeah, I think I've been thinking about that question for a couple of years. Especially when I was thinking about it on campus, like in 2019, I was thinking about stuff like that on campus a lot. 2019 in OE, and I was just like, I don't think machines are gonna like totally replace it. Like intelligent like software is gonna replace us. Like we're still gonna be relevant at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that like in some ways there's a lot of uncertainty because like for me as like someone who has written software before, you can just like simply now go to like an AI chatbot and like you write this software for me and you produce code for you faster than any human can produce code. And it's just like crazy, but still like domain knowledge and expertise is like good. Like the way we've been doing anything, really, we've been doing anything at scale, like medicine. Like medicine requires depth, and engineering requires like so much depth and understanding of systems, and like software, like Google or Facebook that serves billions of people that works at scale, and that's not like cheap knowledge to acquire. It requires like all these fields require like depth and like practice and like years of like experience to know what works well. And like machines are just like assistants. They're able to like synthesize faster
Mm-hmm.
and like because I mean they're trained on a bunch of large human knowledge, so they know so much stuff. So they're like good at like generating text because they know so much stuff. They read a lot of books, not read, but like they were trained in a lot of books,
Mm-hmm.
and so they're able to like synthesize faster and stuff like that. But still,
Mm-hmm.
I think that experience is still required in the real world. So maybe there are like some jobs that would not be relevant. I don't know. I don't want to speak on that, but like for me, I think that people who are producing new stuff will still do right if you're producing new stuff because the machines will still need to be trained, right?
Mm.
On like new data. So like people who are writing new stuff, people who are producing new audio, people who are producing new movies, people who are just like synthesizing new knowledge into the world will still be relevant. Like human creativity is just like also boundless sometimes. So
Mm-hmm.
like
So AI is more like, oh, I don't know if I'm understanding it correctly. So AI is more like stuff that has been done before. So it can't really, because it feels like sometimes like when you ask AI a question, it produces something new and different. So what you're saying is that all that AI knows is depending on what we already have established.
not necessarily, because like you know that you can like read something, right, and then get inspiration for doing something. Just like you can synthesize, you could go like watch a movie or read a book, and then you have like inspiration on something to do, and you produce something new based on your inspiration. So it's just like the same thing that machines can do. I think they can synthesize new stuff from like
Mm-hmm.
from what they already from like material they were trained on. But I still think that like humans have been creating for long. We've been like interacting with the physical world for a long time, and we have more means to get inspired to create more stuff. And I mean, like AI is not going to replace a plumber, but AI can tell you what to fix. AI can tell you what to fix in your sink, but like
Mm.
it still wouldn't replace the plumber and stuff like that. It's just the
Yeah.
same way as you would go to watch a YouTube video. Like it could give you detailed um, steps on maybe how to fix the sink. If you don't know if you touch the wrong thing, then you just assume you wasn't the problem. So that's why you call it plumber. So
Yeah. Okay.
And you mentioned like how you were in, I guess I would call it like your quiet season where you found out what you liked, right? And you took the time out to like learn, develop, and like you said, you were always like inside and you wish you went out more. So when or at what time did you feel like, okay, I know enough of this and I'm ready to like take this outside, meet people, connect with people that are like minded, and then that led to you then having that job where you were writing code and stuff like that? Because I can't imagine like I can imagine like it's a big change to go from chemical engineering, you said, to
Yeah, industrial chemistry. Yeah.
yeah, industrial chemistry to like coding. Like those are two different worlds. Even though yeah, they're science, but like they're completely different. So how was that, and how did you like get that confidence? Because I feel like most of us, when we find things that we're interested in, we tend to like doubt ourselves, like, oh, is this even something I should be doing? Or like even at that point you were in uni, so it's like I've already spent how many years of my life doing chemistry. Why am I switching to AI now? And so like how did you deal with that self doubt and like build your confidence to actually own the fact that, you know, I actually love coding and stuff and I want to make myself something with this like hobby that I found.
Yeah. So I was already kind of learning how to code. You know, before I entered uni, I was already learning how to code
Mm-hmm.
for a bit, and then when I went to uni, I didn't have a laptop, so I like borrow my friend's laptop to practice because it was
Hmm.
like, yeah, he's not using his laptop in the weekend. I was like, yo, let me just take this, go practice stuff. But I don't think you would ever like reach a place where you have like so much confidence of like, yo, this is I'm now ready. I've never
Mm.
really felt ready, and I've always taken jobs that even when like taking gigs and jobs, I've always taken jobs that I actually did not know anything about, and like, and I'm going to tell you an example. So I was just like, I was like taking, people would be like, they have jobs, and I'll like take the gigs. At the time, I started with web development, and I was really comfortable with that as I got to start doing it more and more. But there was a time, if you remember, when blockchain started to become popular, the blockchain um, and stuff like that. So um, at the time that blockchain started to become popular, people were looking for blockchain developers, and I wasn't. That wasn't really my forte at the time. I haven't really got. I've only reading a bunch of text on it, and
Okay.
reading. I read some blogs and all that stuff. Um, so someone like gave me a job. They were like, we want to like develop this protocol and stuff like that. And I was like, damn, I actually don't know anything about this. So now this person, we've worked together in a couple ways before because at the time they've given me gigs in like machine learning, AI stuff, and like training models and all that stuff. So because they were like one of my biggest clients, I just didn't want to lose them at the time. That was in 2020, 2021, and I didn't want to lose them at the time. I was like, I can't let this job go away. There's just like one example of a time where I just didn't really get, I didn't have the skill to develop a blockchain protocol at the time, like a blockchain like solution at the time. So I just read, watched a couple videos, and this was before like ChatGPT, and so it's like I can't really go to ChatGPT and like, hey, how can I do this? So, so, so I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna learn the stuff, and I was able to like, build the stuff out. It took time, but I was able to like figure out the architecture, everything, and putting it all together. So it's just like so much learning, and like that's the thing with like software or people who are like in most knowledge work, and even like all these like careers where you have to constantly update yourself. It's just like new knowledge every time. You just have to keep updating. If not, you get stale. And there's just never a time you feel that you know everything. There's something that would be out of your grasp like constantly,
Yeah.
and it's just like,
Hmm.
yeah, and that's just the way it is. There's just so much stuff to learn every time, and you just like have to pick your battles sometimes, especially if it's a good battle. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
And that's something that like I think about a lot. So I'm about to start, med school and stuff. And there's so much in medicine. There's just a lot. Like every time, even at work, when I see a patient come in and they present with certain symptoms, I'm like, how do people even know like where to start to like figure out what's going on with this person? Because sometimes your symptoms might be different from the other person.
Yep.
Um, So I always think about stuff like that, like how do you even build confidence to even take care of other people, um, and especially when you're in a field where there's a vast amount of knowledge. So I think that's a good way of thinking about it. Like just always remembering that you're not always going to have all the answers all the time. So it's just like, trying to learn on your feet as well,
Yeah,
as you go on.
there's something you said in your last episode, which I kind of remember this about like looking back at something you did and you're like, I did that, and I think that for me, like confidence is just built from like track record. I've like had a lot of these experiences where I didn't know anything, so I took something from 0 to 100, and it's just like that's like a confidence boost in a way that like I've done
Yeah.
something before, I should be able to do something again, and like every single time, every new thing looks very challenging. I can just look back and like I think I did something before. Maybe I should just apply that same grind to this new problem and stuff like that. So it's just like, and it's just like creating that track record of like doing stuff, and then it just makes you feel good that you can tackle new stuff because of the track record of doing stuff. Yeah.
Hmm. So speaking of tackling new stuff, so you did your like AI stuff. You were doing that in Nigeria, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and then you moved to the US. What was like? Why did you move to the US? I know you're currently doing your PhD, so do you want to talk about that experience and what you're doing your PhD in, and
Okay.
what your experience is so far?
So when I was in my last year of university, I was like, I know what I was going to do. I was just going to write software. And then my professor was like, Kelvin, I think you know chemistry and you know like all this software stuff. You can combine it to go do computational chemistry, PhD. Like you can combine both fields, do the
Oh.
PhD in like all this stuff. And I was like, at the time, I was just like, I just hate chemistry. I don't think I want to do chemistry. I was tired. I was just like tired of the concept of chemistry. And I was like, no, I want to write software. I was really stubborn about it. So and I graduated around the time the pandemic hit. So I was just like at home doing stuff. I was like working freelance for companies or individuals at the time. I was taking contracts. And I was like, this is kind of, it was good, but I got lowballed a lot. Like, like as a Nigerian person who wants to do stuff globally, people are going to
Mm.
lowball you. And it's just like, damn, do I want to be a local champion? And I know, I kind of want to expand, and I was like, I think I'm going to figure out a way to be globally relevant so that people will not lowball me when I'm
Mm.
like talking about like money or opportunities and stuff like that. Um, so I went back to, so I left when I graduated from uni. I came back to Abuja where my parents live. I went to Abuja where my parents live, and so from Abuja I went back to Ife, where OU is, to go back and be in that academic culture again, to figure out how I'm gonna like, figure out this PhD next steps and all that. So that was when I started to like do more computational machine learning for chemistry at the time. My final year project in uni was still a computational chemistry project. So I already like was building that experience of using computation for chemistry. But at this time, I just didn't like know how to apply machine learning to chemistry. It was like on Discord. I joined like a community on Discord at the time where somebody reached out to me because I said do I did some like machine learning computational chemistry stuff, sorry, for chemistry, and they're like, oh yeah, you said you did computation for chemistry, would you like to join this project? And so they just like put me in this project, and it was like a bunch of folks from Cambridge and like other like universities and stuff. That was like my first international collaboration in academia, or like in an academic project of sorts. And so that was like when I really saw how to start applying all this machine learning AI stuff to chemistry, and that was like an eye opener of the sort. And yeah, so I was like, okay, I think I know what I'm going to do now. And I kind of have a clear idea of what the research in this field looks like. So
Mm-hmm.
that, wait, I hope I'm answering your question because
Yeah,
this is
you
the question
did.
that, yeah, so I kind of like did my NYC in a lab that does computation. And so I was writing software for chemistry at the time. And yeah, that's just like how I like just figured out the whole thing. I was reaching out to like people who were doing machine learning or computation for chemistry. I was having conversations with some of them in the US because I really want to be sure that I don't come to the US to do stuff I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Like the worst thing I the worst thing like the thing I hate is just doing what I don't like. So I was like having conversations, trying to get like an idea of what they do, so that I would know it's a really good fit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, and so like there was a person at UNC, and she recruited me because she was like she really likes my track record so far, and because I told her about like some of the stuff I did, some of the collaborations I've done, and she was really excited. So she was the one that like kind of pushed for me to come here and be here and stuff.
Okay.
That's really cool. And so I think, I guess my next question, or what I'm curious to hear from you, because this is something I'm going through right now, like that switch of like changing countries and stuff like that, especially at like after you felt like comfortable and stuff in Nigeria. So I guess like from moving to a new country, like at least for me, I felt like it could be isolating at first, just because you don't really know anyone, or like you're just not used to that environment, if that makes sense. Like you're so used to like being home or wherever like your home was before, and like your normal routine and stuff like that, and that completely changes when you move. So like how did you go about like navigating that, and like finding your community in the US?
Yeah. So I think it's been really tough, like especially
Mm,
like my like first coming here and you realize that because I grew up in Abuja, I think I speak good
mm.
enough English, and then you talk to someone and you're like, come again, like three
Oh,
times, and I'm like,
like
I'm like,
like like
so I was like, wait, I was like, the fuck, am I not speaking well? Like, and so that kind of really hurts your confidence in some ways. You're like, wait,
mm,
Mm-hmm.
don't I speak good English?
mm.
And because I've spoken English most of my life, or all my life,
Exactly.
Right.
and like, and it's kind of like it was. I think that was like the first thing I noticed. So that was like the first tough
Mm.
thing, and just like interacting with people, and so it's just like because you've noticed how people interacted with you, and you're like, you now want to like spark. You just like feel less of an urge to start a conversation with
Yes.
someone. You're like, what if
Mm-hmm.
do you
Yeah.
just like don't understand what I'm saying? It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's just a pain to communicate or interface with them in
Yeah.
that way. So, but I had some really good people who kind of showed me around. They they just like took me to stores and like all that stuff, and then they're like really kind and helpful. I think there are a lot of kind and helpful people here that just kind of made me feel comfortable. But it was like kind of really tough finding
Mm.
community. I don't think I still have it. It's kind of crazy. I don't think I have it.
Yeah.
This place feels isolated in the sense that like
Mm-hmm.
in Nigeria, like I often talk about in Nigeria, there's just some context that connects you with someone,
Yes.
and in the US, it's just like the context is mostly not there within you, between you and someone, and it's just like
Mm-hmm.
there's no context to interact with the person most times. So there's no shared context or shared purpose to
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
have conversation about or be. But I've been trying to like. I think what I've recently learned is that sometimes there just don't have to be context or stuff. Like you could just like be more curious about other people,
Mm-hmm.
and then they can like lay that curiosity on you, and then there would be like good conversation or good stuff. Like these days, I go to the bar, even though I don't drink a lot. I don't drink, but I just go there because it's a nice place. I
Yeah.
okay, so I wrote an article at some point where I was like, U.S. bars are like peace. I don't want to go there. I don't have anything to do with them. But recently, I just had a change of mind. It's like it's a cool place to meet people. It's a cool place to have conversation. I've made a lot of really good people just by sitting there doing my work. I take my laptop to. It's kind
To
of
the
crazy.
bar.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
it's
I've never
yeah,
seen that.
it's not like it's like a cafe. I don't know how to describe this place. It's sort of like a cafe, but it's a bar. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I take my laptop there and sit down there with headphones and trying to walk. Sometimes I don't pull headphones, so to just maybe signal that I'm open for conversation. I can just
Yeah.
go. So I just sit down there and like interact. Sometimes I interact with people, and because I know the bartender, all the bartenders know me, and so it's a really friendly, friendly
Mm-hmm.
environment. Friendly environment. I met a lot of people there, and it's like a way to be part of my community because there are all these people who are doing like maybe birthdays or events and stuff. So you show up for their stuff.
Mm,
They show up for your stuff, and then like that,
exactly.
it's just like you just like have an ongoing like conversation and like encounter with them. But like really, it was hard. Like some weekends, I'm just like in my room, and I'm just like, what the fuck do I do now? I'm just like in my room, I'm just like looking, or I just take walks. And it's like, damn, this is really boring. This place is really
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
boring. Yeah.
No,
So, oh, were you going to say something to me?
it's okay. I was just going to say, can definitely relate to you, especially when you're saying like you don't like already have stuff in common, so you feel like, oh, what do I even say in the first place? But I think something that's helped me since I've moved to London is like sometimes, because I think for me, I just used to look. God forgive me. I would just be like, "Oh, is this person Nigerian?" Because I already know. Okay, we already have some like a shared context, or like if this person is black, like I feel more comfortable. Because for me, the reason why I didn't like talking a lot is like what you were saying of like, oh, they can't hear me, and I really don't like using my fake accent because I feel like first of all, I don't even sound like somebody that knows how to speak English. Like I don't sound okay. Like I sound very jaded whenever I fake my accent. So like I didn't need to talk in class. Like I didn't need to do anything because I was just like, no, please, I beg. But I think something that's been helping me since I moved here is like instead of just waiting till you can identify what that shared context is, so that you can then speak to them. It's just like, for example, if you like their shirt, I was like, oh, your top is nice. And then from when you start talking to them, like for example, it happened to me randomly on Tuesday. Oh, your top is nice. Like, oh, I got it from ASOS. Now me, I shopped my whole life on ASOS. And from then, like you start, and then when you start having a conversation, then you're able to then further identify what you might even have in common. But I think for me, I used to wait till I could identify it first before I go and speak
Mm-hmm.
to them, and then it just used to make everything long. So
Yeah.
that's something that has helped me so far, and like also just not overthinking things because again I do that a lot. Well, a lot of people because I feel like with Nigeria it's so is warm the right word, but like people are like if they don't know you, and some of them are like what like not say who are you, but like they will make you know that oh we have never seen you before, welcome that type of thing. You get, but like here they like let them see you every day. They're not going to come and walk up to you and say, "Oh
Yeah.
hi, are you new around here?" Something like that. Like that is not a thing. Do you get? So you have like I feel like you always have to be more. You have to be more intentional about finding a community here than like in Nigeria because in Nigeria I feel like community is so ingrained in our culture, so it's very like easy to just like fall back on it. It doesn't even feel like you have to try too hard because like you shall know that you will find people shall, but like here I feel like you have to be way more intentional because it's more individualistic, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that, but honestly, I think maybe it also depends on the group of people you meet. Because I've also found that people here are also sometimes um community focused, depending on the context, actually. Um, like my job, for instance, I feel like I mean it took a while for me to get into that groove of like, getting to know people. But because people just talk to each other, talk about everything, so it's like they try to include you. They ask you questions about like, oh, where are you from, stuff like that, and try to include you in things. That it was easy-ish to build community. So I think also in the US, yeah, people are very individualistic, but it depends on like where you go and who you meet, because some people are actually very open and warm. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but and what you were saying about like being open and intentional about meeting people. I was listening to this podcast, and I think it's Diary of the CEO,
Mm-hmm.
and he brought this guy that is like good with charisma, or like how you build charisma or whatever. Um, and he was talking about like building conversations with people, like instead of like if you go in an elevator and you want to strike a conversation with somebody, like a good way to like get to know people, and instead of like waiting to figure out what they like, sort of thinking in your head, oh, what's the context of this conversation that I'm going into, like the way that you can build that was like trying to say one more thing. I don't know how he was explaining it, but like instead of like, oh, hi, maybe it's like, hi, how are you, and just trying to say one thing, like, okay, because people here like to chat, especially like elevator talks. People like to make small talk about things, so you can actually get to know even like one or two things, like, oh, where are you going? Like, you can ask somebody where are you going, and they can even tell you like their whole grandfather, grandmother is going to be there, and what what and stuff like that. So I think that was interesting when you were saying that to me. Um, but I guess my next question for you, uh, Kelvin, is so do you feel like what are your plans? Are you going to go back to Nigeria? Do you feel like you've built a home here, sort of? Um, and like, what's your relationship with people back home in Nigeria, like your friends that you left behind from schooling and stuff like that?
Yeah. First of all, yeah, I still don't think I've been like I still don't like feel at home in the US yet. It's more of like a transitory,
Mm-hmm.
or it feels transitory. It's like, yeah, this is just transient right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a phase and stuff like that. So it doesn't feel at all like
Mm-hmm.
in any way, I would say. But I've always told people that, I mean, I actually don't know what I'm going to do next. It's just like, yeah, maybe I'll go back to Nigeria, do startup, or go. I do have a couple of friends and connections in Switzerland. I want to do that. I like what they're doing there. But to be honest, I don't know. I just try to control what I can do now. It's just like I'm here now, and that's all I know. And it's like the whole concept of what's gonna come after kind of troubles me sometimes because I really have no idea on that. Like, of course, I can give myself a choice. I can try to like better myself so that anywhere I go, I can like maybe give value to people, and then I know that I'm kind of welcome anywhere I want to go. But my relationship with people at home is very like strong. I call my friends
Mm.
almost every weekend. I don't know. We
Mm-hmm.
talk. We talk a lot. I talk a lot of people at home.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crazy. I'm an introvert, and I've always had so many people that I know, or so many people that know me. And someone was telling me that it's crazy how you're like an introvert and have all this like many deep relationships with people. And
Mm.
but I don't know, but I can maybe I've been trying to think that maybe that's one of my skills. It's just like deepening stuff that I care about,
Mm.
especially when I was doing freelance.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're working with like clients and you have all this like clients with their needs and their like, own business and concerns, and just like deepening the relationship with them to the point where they feel comfortable coming back to you with more stuff, more demands and stuff like that. So it's like a lot of the people I worked with are some of them turn out to be close friends. So that's nice. And close friends to the fact where they're like, okay, how about we build something together? And it's not just like a freelancer client relationship. It's like
Mm.
let's actually do something together because there's that level of trust and stuff. So trust, I think, is one of the big things I learned during freelance, which I applied to my relationship. How to make people feel comfortable and how to make people trust you and how to trust people. I kind of learned that in most times, if you want people to trust you, you have to trust first, and you just
Yeah.
show them that you trust them.
Mm-hmm.
Act with trust. Like of course, you might get burnt
Yeah.
sometimes, and you might get burnt sometimes, but still, you just have to have good faith, act with trust, and then they begin to trust you. So that's why I applied to my friendships, and I think I have really good friends, really supportive friends, a lot of friends that I used to tell people that if I'm kind of stuck anywhere, there are people I know I can call and I can hit my chest that I'm gonna get out of that situation. So
Oh,
so
that's so
it's
sweet.
so I kind of like just like my friends and my family. They call me, they keep up, and
Mm-hmm.
and those are like really good people. So it's just like there's no point messing with this type of relationship. Or sometimes I get very occupied or busy with all the stuff I do. Sometimes PhD, I want to like write a blog or do podcasts, and I just get and I want to have hobbies and read my books and all that stuff, and I just get really distracted. And I don't call anybody, but I try to tell myself that at the end of the day, it's just the people that matter, and I just try to move with that mindset, especially here, do my PhD, it's people that matter,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So yeah, I I like to keep it that way. It's the people that matter anywhere. I don't know where I'm gonna go, but I know that like people are gonna matter, not like all this computers or stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
No, it's definitely yeah. Keeping up keeping up with your friends can be hard, like with time difference and stuff like that. But I think it's great that you've been very intentional about maintaining those friendships. And like you said, like at the end of the day, it's people that matter. Like things change, but like the people that you have around you will keep you grounded and like support you when it gets tough and things like that. So I think it's really amazing that you had that, and like hopefully with time, you start to feel at home in the US. And even if you don't, honestly, it's fine. Like I feel like I feel like home is such an important like feeling and word, because I feel like sometimes I say
yeah,
home, but like it takes a lot for me to say, "Oh, I'm going home." Like till now, I say Nigeria is my home because that's the place I feel the most at peace and at myself, and like I feel like okay, this is where I belong. So again, no pressure to feel like you have to make America your home. Go with time, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Honestly, well, let me not be negative, but you said you know what I mean. Like it will be okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, like and you find I hope for you at least that you find your home and like things get better for you and like you find your community, because like I can 100% relate to you. It's really 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 tough, and sometimes I'm like, God, is this even the right thing for me? But it will all work out for all of us. It's just
yeah.
hallelujah.
I've also been because I'm an introvert, and it's just like I don't like because I was like listening to your last episode, and like one of you wanted to DJ. And
Oh
that has
yeah.
been on my mind, and I was like, because
You
I want to
see,
like
great
learn
minds,
how to
great minds.
DJ. I want to like curate events. Sometimes when I look at all these
Mm-hmm.
DJs
Mm.
curating events and experiences for people, and I'm like, I
Exactly.
want to like do this stuff. It's just like curate a vibe for people. And it's
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
just like I actually don't know how to start. But I guess something on top of my mind right now. And it's like I've been thinking about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's literally one of my favorite things to do. And that's why I loved hosting and stuff like that when I lived in Dallas and stuff. Like, I think start small, like, maybe start, like, hosting people, see if you can curate that vibe and then, like, stuff like that. But it will come natural and I'm sure you'll be fantastic at it.
You guys should connect.
Yes, yeah, honestly, you can.
Yeah. DJ boiler room.
Exactly. Well, we've come to the end of the episode, Kelvin. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and you're always welcome back here whenever you want.
Oh,
Feel free to
definitely
shoot
come
us
back. I have
a
so many
message.
questions for
Yeah,
you.
like your journey is so interesting. Like, I'm very cool. And yeah, Florence, do you have any other anything else to
No,
add?
just
Okay.
that I'm glad that you're here and
Yes.
definitely come back and we should connect and stay in touch even outside of the pod. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's
Hundred
Yeah.
cool.
percent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I kind of really like what you are doing. It's kind of nice. Yeah, I just like conversation based podcasts. It's something I wanted to do. I start with my friends. I started my podcast as a co host, and then they just left me and they didn't have time. So I had to.
Yay.
So, so I had to run it myself with like random guests coming on stream and stuff like that.
Do you
But
want
yeah,
to
I kind of
plug your stuff like
Yeah.
your
Tell us
pod
about the
on?
podcast, yeah.
yeah, I do post the podcast a bit like less consistently in the last year. It's called Hinted Neuron, and I host people there and I chat with them. And outside of that, I do more writing on my blog.
Okay.
I've been doing a lot of writing on kelvinpascal.com. So
Okay.
that's been fun. Yeah, that's my own creative outlet, I would say, for now.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you guys make sure to check out Kelvin's podcast and his website. Follow us on Instagram at Do You Get Pod. I hope you guys have a lovely, lovely week, and we'll chat to you soon. Bye.
Bye.